Hey, I was in one of those commercials.
Were you really?
That was like the first commercial I ever booked. I was in a DeVry commercial that played at the movie theater. So if I went to go watch movies back then, I would see myself and I'm like on a computer. And I'm just like...
Okay, did you guys know that Target has dropped 15% in stonks since...
What'd you just say? In stonks?
So Target stocks have taken a beating since all this Pride stuff, right? So they were having like...
Because they got the tuck your penis thongs and shit.
Yes, they do have tuck your penis thongs.
Is that what they look like?
They look like this, yeah.
Tomboy X.
Tomboy X tucking, hiding bikini underwear for compression.
And they'll have them in the kids section, and that's why parents are pissed.
Yeah, this is an extra
Like, don't like market the sexualization to my kids.
It's the marketing they don't like, yeah?
For adults, do your thing. But like, now if my kid, who's barely still picking his nose or her nose, is walking around, they're like, what do you mean tuck my penis away?
That's like the opposite of sexual though, isn't it? Like, don't look at it. Like, you're trying to hide it.
Well, it's women's clothes for biological dudes that want to tuck it away. It's very complicated. I think that's the main thing, that parents are like, it's a very complicated thing for someone that's 8. Is what I think parents are mad at.
What if they're 9?
Yeah, what if they're 9?
They probably get it then.
Okay,
yeah, get some.
Cool.
What if it's just a good pair of underwear?
Did you guys hear about the whole, the reason why a lot of these companies are doing it this way, or doing this, is because there's some kind of like diversity index thing that a lot of companies have to scale high on.
It's called CSG or some shit?
Yeah, and then if they don't hit that mark...
ESG?
Yeah, ESG.
Like, and it's a bad evaluation for the company, which will drop its stocks, all this stuff. So they're like more willing to do this and be controversial and maybe even take a slight hit, because in the long run, what they're more concerned about is the owners of the stocks.
Like a shareholder review.
So it's part of like the ultimate finance game.
It's like, because then a lot of people were saying like, why would Bud Light and all these companies do this and alienate their, consumers? Like, and why would they do this if it's hurting their own company? And other companies see that it's doing it, but they keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
And then they're like, and then this guy came out and he goes, well, it's because they don't care about the consumer, because you're going to forget about it and keep buying anyway. Like, this is the real reason why. And then there's like all these governing groups, and there's like a criteria that you have to check off, and it's like, it's a lot of...
But Bud Light was nuts. Because Bud Light's, like, their target audience is just like truckers and shit. That's like having like fucking Peterbilt or John Deere come out and be like, we got a fucking rainbow colored steerman today or whatever.
Yeah.
People just...
But their execution was pretty heavy-handed. It was different.
Yeah.
But generally, like, that whole movement or whatever they're trying to do is like, it's the diversity thing, all that stuff. I guess it's like for a completely different agenda, not trying to sell products.
It's required of them to do that.
More business incentives.
Yeah.
I went to a Pride event last night, and Bud Light had a gay Bud Light stance.
They?
They had some like gay Bud Lights, like, and it was all colored like in rainbow balloons and everything.
Isn't Bud Light itself just gay now?
I think so.
Yeah.
Bud is a pretty gay. He tried to suck my dick, honestly. I tried. I was like, no, Bud.
Hey, man, come on, chill, dude. What the hell, man?
What I thought, so didn't they retract and then they were like too much in the middle? So like they went with,
they're like, hey, our bad, and then the gay community's like, hey, fuck you, dude.
Yeah, and then they try to backtrack.
Yeah. They got both sides.
And like, hey, truckers, we miss you, and then like, hey, fuck you.
And so now they're going back to the gay community can you guys take us back?
Well, this is the same as it ever was, kind of, because like I'm sure they already had like stuff going back for a long time, like pictures of them doing gay pride parades and stuff. I've seen those.
Yeah.
But it's just this one moment, like this Dylan Mulvaney can thing. It went like kind of viral.
I think it's the trans thing. Like, there was never a problem with companies, supporting gay things. It's like now that it's trans, it was way more divisive.
So my question is, why do these like conservative people, why do they care so much if there is like a rainbow can or something, like, or just like something that might confirm the existence of gay people? Like, why does that make them so upset? Like, I don't understand like where those emotions come from personally.
I've been trying to live action role play that myself. and I have not gotten there. Can't find the outrage.
I honestly,
Can't find the motivation.
I can't
Yeah.
think it. Like the
this
people
isn't
writing
the
articles and
first
stuff. Like
This isn't the first time that beer companies sponsored gay events and gay.
No, yeah,
things,
it's always been a thing.
But maybe now they're starting to see like not a division, but just like it's not so much clear cut as like gay and lesbian, transgender. All of that is not grouped up into one. It might be more like It to me, it seems like they have an issue with like I guess transgenderism or what's going on right now with the whole political climate with not being able to choose between who's a man, who's a woman, all that. That's the debate right now. That's the fight, right?
To me, I feel like it's almost even bigger than that.
I think it's gender politics.
I think it's a right-left issue, and whatever is the new topic, both sides fight to the death.
Yeah.
So I think it even started with like George Floyd stuff, right? Like cops. Is there police brutality?
Yeah.
One's yes, one's no. Fight to the death.
Right.
And then okay, what's the next thing? The next thing is now like rainbow stuff. What's your stance? Fuck you. Like I don't think there's a logical argument. I just think there's such,
Everyone's dying on their hill.
Yeah, the last 3 to 4 years has been so much tension
With everything.
with everything.
Yeah.
Fucking water, cop, whatever. Any topic.
I know it's talking about water.
What
I'm not
happened to
talking about
water?
water.
I don't know, but it just feels like that. It feels like anything.
Nobody cares about water.
Actually, there is. There's like the fucking drought people, and then there's the people that are like, no, it's a conspiracy. They keep dumping water
You
to
guys
the
are just
Pacific
being
Ocean,
pussies.
and it's
There's
and
no
it's,
drought.
and it's always or like borders. One is like let them all in, like keep all of them out, and like every single thing, it's like hard 180-degree stances.
Yeah, it's wing on wing.
With no compromise or any type of like conversation.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. So I feel like it's actually, I don't even think any of these topics really matter to them. I think it matters to the people like us. Like, oh, we want this or we don't want this. But I think the people that are at the forefront of it, they're
divisive as fuck.
yeah, it's just it's just being used as a puppet or a scapegoat to have a bigger argument.
That's why I feel like Bud Light people, Bud Light stands at least, they just didn't want a part of that conversation. I think it was fair to assume they just didn't want to have to say whether they were for it or not. But now they do, because now it's inside their brand. So then they're forced to either be upset about it or not be. But they just didn't want either.
So
they just
Bud
wanted
Light
to drink beer.
Bud Light drinkers, like let's say you
That's
have
very
a
true.
fridge stock full of the old can.
Yeah.
They see this can.
Yeah.
Do they take all their old cans and dump that out too?
The actual can doesn't exist. It was just for the ad.
Yeah, it was just for.
yeah,
they
it
made
wasn't
one.
actually a thing. They
It
literally
was a oneer.
Yeah. It was never a real thing in stores. It was just for the Dylan Mulvaney like spot.
People overreact.
But they overreacted like crazy. They were like, "I'm not gonna stock that can in my store." But it's like it's not a real can.
Well, sometimes too, there is a thing. You know, I think you're right. You say there's always people on the wings, right? Nobody wants to have a conversation in the middle. But then sometimes I'm like, do I really want to have this conversation?
They didn't want to talk.
Like we'll be here, we'll like have some guests on JK, and I hear them say something that I'm like, I personally disagree with this, but do I really want to spend the rest of the day like at my like taking minor shots?
Exactly, because it doesn't matter.
No, do not correct what an assault rifle is. Just leave it alone.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I have a conspiracy as to why people are so mad about the whole trans thing.
Okay.
I think it's almost just as we're moving into the future, we're seeing a lot less like masculinity in general, because dudes are just staying inside playing video games.
Yeah.
They're in school, just on computers all the time, like probably watching a lot of porn and stuff. Like men just like aren't masculine anymore.
Porn is better than it ever has been.
Yeah.
I know.
It's great,
Ever
but that's the
worked.
problem. That's the problem, though. That's kind of the problem.
It is, yeah.
But I think men in general are just becoming like way less masculine, and then people like maybe don't understand why, so they're trying to blame it on the trans movement. Like they're trying to like trying to shift the blame with the instead of
To avoid accountability.
or trying to focus on like the shitty diets that people eat that are causing them to be less masculine and stuff.
Yeah.
That's why we're going carnivore, brother.
I also think, like, to Bart's point of why it's so polar now, to where the left and the right are at, like, it's almost like a cultural war. It's not like we're both Americans and we have different ideologies and let's just kind of hash this out.
Yeah, because there's not one thing you guys agree on.
Nope.
Not even one. It's like literally opposite on every single thing.
Because I think this is what used to be like when we were kids. I thought that the left was the working class representation, and then the right was more like small business, big business. It was more conservative and old school, right? But the tying common cultural thing to me was Christianity. Today's video is brought to you by Warby Parker. You know, I like seeing sunglasses like this sometimes on the interwebs, but one of the biggest problems is I never buy sunglasses online because I never know if it's gonna fit or not. But what's awesome about Warby Parker is you can try these on at home before you even buy it.
And not even one at a time too, because that would be a pain in the ass. Where you put one on, oh man, it's too small, or it's too big, doesn't fit my face. You can get 5 of them. So you get your top 5 choices, which is even better than 3, and you try it at home. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna keep this one or this one or this one and send it back.
Yeah, you can just go ahead and browse their website. They got so many different kinds of glasses to sunglasses to whatever you want to get, right? And then you're like, I like this. I want to try that. And then you could be at home putting it on, putting some clothes on. Does it fit with this outfit? Does it fit with my facial frames? And then you go, okay, I'm gonna keep these 5.
So Warby Parker offers you everything that you need for happier eyes. Eyeglasses, sunglasses, even contact lenses and eye exams. And you can shop with them online or in stores. I've been seeing them around. And glasses start at $95, including the prescription lenses.
Try Warby Parker's free try-on home program. Order 5 pairs of glasses to try at home for free. There's no obligation to buy, ships free, and includes a prepaid shipping label.
Try 5 pairs of glasses at home for free at warbyparker.com/offtherecord.
And we were an actual, like, pretty Christian nation. But now the left has way more atheists. They're way more, they're culturally way more different. It's like West Coast, I would say it's even West Coast snobbery. Or like coastal major cities. And it's all the people that didn't belong in Christian conservative lifestyles that want to run away from it. And so since they were outcasted from them, but also they abandoned the working class. So during the Clinton administration and on, I think like they started really focusing on big business, getting campaign funding. They wanted to play the game that the Republicans were playing, getting a bunch of money from corporate donors and stuff. So then what ended up happening is like now they're sponsored by big tech. You know, they're sponsored by like different special interests, and they're doing the same thing that they resented the conservatives for. So now you have these 2 different cultures completely fighting over what is the definition of like being American, right?
I also think there's something to be said too about like kind of what Bart was touching on. Whenever I like I said, it was live action role playing, trying to get to the anger place of like, if guy holding a Bud Light can, he was a dude, now he says he's a woman. That doesn't piss me off for whatever reason. I can't get mad, right? But the thing that Bart was touching on, where I think it's like, I send my kid to school, and then my kid comes home, and they're like in kindergarten, and the teacher's like trying to tell them about like how they might be trapped in the wrong body. I get why people are mad about that. Yeah. That makes sense to me. I don't need like a conspiracy to understand like why people are mad about that. But the like guy holding a Bud Light can and he just dresses like however he wants to.
That's adult reaction. Like
Exactly.
you're old enough to be like, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Or also, it's also like, so the people have the issue, but then when like an organized group that's not part of the people, it's up to them to solve the problem. And then so the result is never what the issue that people wanted in the first place. So for example, everyone wanted to defund the police. And they're like, okay, we got to defund the police. So LASD, the sheriff's department, they actually got defunded. They got, I don't know, like tens of millions of dollars. And then the list that comes out of all the departments that they have, like boat patrol, like the downtown district.
Things that get sacrificed.
Yeah. Which department got canned? And it was pedophiles, like that department's gone. So now it's like
Pedophile department.
yeah. Like,
Thank God we got.
Thank God they're gone.
no, but
Those
now,
guys
but
are
now,
criminals.
Like, but now, like if kids get assaulted, there's no detectives assigned to that. So like all these other like 5, like there's like 5 of them that are pretty crazy that get canned, and they're like, wait, so by me defunding the police, now our kids are at risk. What the fuck? So it's never.
Sounds like the police were trying to like outsmart and be like, oh, you want to defund us? Well, we'll defund the things that you don't want to defund. And
Well, no, it's not.
defund
Guess what?
the-
All these pedophile cops are now on the street.
No, it's not. It's not even based off.
Are
intention.
you happy?
It's not based off intention. It's based off of percentage. So if burglary and homicide makes up 70% of the crimes, they're not going to cut that. They just go down percentage. Well, I guess there's only 5 sexual assault cases per day, so I guess that will, they still want to do a good job. And same thing with Taika's cousins who are in kindergarten. They're at school. Like there's all the trans issues and stuff, and it's like, cool, fight for that. But then now if you leave it up to the school district to solve the problem, now what they're doing is grades 1 through 5 is going to be unisex bathrooms. And for us growing up, we already know like 5th graders beat the fuck out of 1st graders, and that's boy on boy. Now imagine the kind of like crazy shenanigans like a 5th grader on a 1st grade girl. It's just going to be like, so like the way they solve problems, it's like, here's the issue.
It's just really bad execution.
Yeah, put it through another organization, because they're the ones that have to produce a solution, and then the result is never what they're fighting for.
Right.
So it's like the people that are angry and marching and they want to make a difference, they're not involved in actually doing the work to
Executing it,
changing
yeah.
it. So they have a wish of like, hey, we want diversity to be taught. And then the government goes, sure. And then they go, you guys teach diversity. He goes, you guys teach diversity. And then it gets pushed back to the person that's actually got to do the work.
Then a parent comes up and says, I disagree with what you guys are doing, and they get called a phobophobe.
Yeah, because what the parent that's fighting for, the parent will go and be like, I don't want my 6-year-old daughter to share a bathroom with a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah.
And then because they're fighting for this, but then the parents kind of get pitted against each other because they're actually not having the same conversation.
Right.
Because one's like, well, I want my kid to have like trans rights and do all this stuff, and it's like, that's awesome, but then because of this middle ground, they're not fighting the actual same issue.
They're not against the initiative, they're against the execution.
I think the problem with like the policies in government, then it's really like some things are packaged in such a good way, right?
Yeah.
But the execution, no one reads it, no one follows up on it.
Yeah, they don't follow
so
up,
then,
yeah. That's true.
And it's like, look at how the DMV is ran. Like, you want to trust the government to actually follow through on policies that like no one looks at? Like, that's where I'm just like, yeah. And if you say no, so for example, right, like let's say the student loans is a big one, right? A lot of people just want it excused. And if someone goes, I don't think it's a good idea to do it this way, then people go, what the fuck is wrong with you? You're so greedy. You don't want students to pay back their loans? And it's like, wait.
Yeah.
Let's look at how they plan on making this happen. I'm saying no to the plan. I'm saying no to how they want to execute this.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue, is a lot of people, they just want quick ass solutions, and it always sucks. Like, I don't trust a lot of people to solve my problems because they're stupid, bro.
But that's why it's so easy to bitch about shit and not to run for something and go try to
And do it yourself. But at that point, I feel like we don't deserve our democracy then. Because if you're not willing to put in the work, you just complain, you just go on Twitter, you just don't even do anything, and you don't even vote. A lot of people don't even vote.
But a lot of people will argue, especially nowadays, by me going on Twitter and talking about it is helpful for the cause.
Well, but like, have you seen how many eligible voters there are to how many people actually vote?
I'm not
like,
gonna vote.
Dude, it's so low, and
And you get jury duty all of a sudden. I'm not gonna fall for that trick. You know what I mean?
That is the thing.
what
They
I'm
do
talking
kind of
about?
do punish you for participating.
Dude, I'm out. I can't take days off
Ooh,
work.
Nick's an active citizen.
That's serving
Jury duty, jury duty, jury duty.
Yeah, dude.
But at that point, do you deserve it though? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You don't feel a pride about jury duty?
Oh no, I take my job seriously. If I get called in to be a juror, I take it seriously.
You know what I thought was a good move they did? When they took down all those schools, like, I mean, I wish they did this to all schools, but when they took out DeVry and like ITT Tech
Oh, those were predatory.
for giving certificates that were worthless to people.
Really?
Well, like the non-accredited schools, right?
Yeah, and they gave money back to people who spent their money at these schools and couldn't get a job.
Wow.
But they don't do that for liberal arts colleges that cost way the fuck more.
There you go.
They've been around longer.
Yeah.
You're talking about my master's from University of Phoenix doesn't mean anything?
In business.
Bro, my friend went to 3 years of DeVry, and then when he realized that they have to be accredited, transferable credits. He had to go through another 4 years to get his bachelor's because he didn't know.
I didn't know that was the whole racket with DeVry.
I don't know if it's DeVry. I know IT Tech might be one of them. It might be both.
Definitely University of Phoenix, right?
Have you seen the ones at Grand Canyon University?
Yeah, all of them are like.
So anytime they're like on ads on TV,
If Ray J is talking about it, or fucking like
you know,
any rapper's son doing a commercial about it, it's probably not legit.
Rapper son.
Does Ray J just? He's like, hey, it's Ray J from the Kim Kardashian video. Anyway,
and Raycons.
If the commercial pops up during daytime television in the middle of Jerry Springer, and then there's someone that goes, I used to fucking do nothing. I went to ITT Tech and I'm a technical nurse.
Technically, I'm something now.
And the B-roll is him in his backyard, like shoveling something.
Hey, I was in one of those commercials.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was in the DeVry.
Were you spinning on your head?
That was like the first commercial I ever booked. I was in a DeVry commercial that played at the movie theater. So if I went to go watch movies back then, I would see myself and I'm like on a computer and I'm just like,
Holy shit!
did you ever like people on the phones and shit? Hey, look at this shit.
the irony is I didn't even have a certificate from a place like that at all. I had no degree.